Unite us. Unite the clans.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. Make sure you cast your vote, because your vote's gonna count. Unless, of course, you live in the state of Illinois, where, you assume, based on the actual, if you blur your eyes and you just kind of look back at the state here, you'd say, I live in a red state. Look at that. I live in a red state. Donald Trump's going to be my president. Donald Trump's going to get our 20 electoral votes. That's a lot of electoral votes, actually, for a state. It's in the middle of the country. It's surrounded by red states. So clearly Illinois is going to be a red state. And then you look a little closer at the data, and you see that Joe Biden won by getting 1 million more votes than Donald Trump. And then you look at the state and you're like, where did he get those votes? Because there's like 50 counties in the state and 40 of them are red, blood red. And then you go ahead and look at a map like this and you see, here's the difference in the size of victory. Oh, look at the size of that giant blue circle. What is that giant blue circle? Let's zoom in a little closer. That's Cook County. And Cook County is where Joe Biden got all of his votes. And when I say all, I mean all his votes from a single county. Joe Biden was able to get the entire gap to defeat Donald Trump by 1 million votes. He was able to get that from a single county. That's it. This one county, which is a horrible, deadly, third world kind of county to live in, that's stacked with housing projects and, human blocks where a Democrat machine just sort of reaches in and pulls the lever and it just vomits extra 2 million votes into Joe Biden's category. Does anybody there even know Joe Biden? Did anybody there even know they voted for Joe Biden? Doesn't matter. The machine works with a brutalist efficiency. And then the red state of Illinois, which Illinois is a red state, goes to Joe Biden on election night without even people batting an eye, right? Because they just know what's going to happen in this county right here. That's called a machine, an electoral machine. And it works quite nicely. And it works quite nicely, quite frankly, to destroy or to tilt or to rig a system in a state like Illinois against the people of the state. Is this democracy? Well, many would argue no, actually, it's not. This is rule by authoritarianist means, by a single county and the political machine inside of that single county. And there's other states. Look at this state. This is Oregon. Many people say, wow, Oregon, so liberal. Is it? Is Oregon actually liberal? Look at the state breakdown. Look at this state. No, this is actually a red state. I count one hard blue county. Of course, that's the third world hellscape of Portland right up here. And then I count a bunch of hard red counties. And in fact, the vast majority of the state is red, right? Varying hues of red for Donald Trump. So these are votes, Trump versus Biden. Yet Joe Biden wins. And Joe Biden won by 300,000 votes, right? But where'd those votes come from? Well, a single county. And that county, again, is a third world hellscape where open drug and illegality and defunding the police, and nobody wants to live there, and you can't even sell your house. You effectively have to just hand it over to the homeless people in Portland. And it's making a lot of people around places like this part of Oregon say, wait a second, what the hell are we doing here? Why are we letting these people, this people in this little sliver here, run all of the rest of us? Illinois is asking the same question. Why are we letting this one county destroy it for all of the rest of us, right? All of these other counties are like, what the hell are we doing? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the Greater Idaho movement has really taken off. So the Greater Idaho movement is gaining a lot of traction. This is a movement to effectively carve off and carve out a bunch of counties from the eastern side of Oregon, which are those red counties, and lump them in with this state. Now that's a fine looking state right there. There's the Idaho election results in the 2020 election. This is a fine looking state. Now, would you look at that? There you go. You never see states like this where like the entire state's blue. Like you you never see states like this. It's amazing. So Idaho is like an actual red state because every county is effectively red. And Oregon saying, what we want to be part of this, right? This part of Oregon saying we want to be part of this. It makes a ton of sense. Rural Oregon movement to join Greater Idaho gains traction with 12th county vote. Oh boy, what happened here?
Greater Idaho movement has secured another win in eastern Oregon. Voters in Wallowa County approved a move to merge with Idaho.
The vote will not require a recount. It passed by a mere 7 votes, which was right on the cusp there. Wallowa County is now the 12th rural Oregon county to approve the merger with Idaho.
Ooh, baby. What does this mean? Wallowa County became the 12th Oregon county to join the Greater Idaho movement, a special election. Results were finalized on Tuesday. The vote originally took place in May. Preliminary results, an effort leading by only 21 votes. All votes were finalized, but who cares? I mean, there you go. Boom. It's like Brexit. The Greater Idaho effort originally began in 2020 as an idea for large swaths of rural eastern Oregon to secede and join the more conservative Idaho to get away from western progressive part of the state. It's not just western progressive part of the state. It's like one county right there. It's the one county in Portland. And Portland is such a hellscape. Man, it's so crime-ridden. It's such an awful place. You'd want to break away from something like that. Why would you let these people rule your life out here? And what is God's country? Wallowa County vote. 12 out of 12 counties have now held elections for Greater Idaho Metro. The move is going to be... This is going to be wild, man. What happens next? Support for the proposal in the Idaho legislature to form formal talks between the two states' legislatures about redrawing the border has been split across party lines. Democrats opposing the idea. I'm very pleased with the measure and virtually no chance of advancing into reality, says Democrat Idaho Senate Minority Leader. Shut up, lady. What are you? Please. It would be bad for all involved and bad for the country. I'm opposed to it. Yeah, right. You're opposed to it because you actually understand power politics. Democrats actually understand this. This is actually power politics at play. Well, the majority in the country is on our side, but Republicans are weaklings, simps, and fragile people. And so they don't actually understand how to play power politics. This is power politics. The people are with us, so now we gain power. In contrast, Republican State Rep. Julie Boyle said, I'm in support of the Greater Idaho idea. I've long lived along the Oregon border my entire life. I have many East Oregon friends. They've been frustrated with their liberal Western Oregon corridor running their state and completely ignoring their values and needs. They have finally come down to asking voters, county by county, if they want to join Idaho. And 12 counties have said yes. Move Oregon's border. That's pretty amazing. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's do it. Should it happen? It should totally happen. Here's the update from the ringleader who has started this movement, sort of explaining what's going on here. This is a great sort of image of what the state would look like. You'd sort of dump these blue counties over here in Oregon and then leave... make this great new red state with a bunch of new electoral votes for Republicans. I mean, what you'd probably immediately get 3 or 4 more electoral votes for Republicans here. Electoral votes for Idaho you get 4 right now. I guess I don't know what size of the population it would add. But presumably there's not an enormous amount of people who live here, but maybe you get another electoral vote or 2. Right here. What's the update, baby? Could this thing actually happen? Local news saying this is as serious as a heart attack. Yeah.
McCaw believes that if you've lived in Oregon for any amount of time, you can see the east side of the state can be quite different than the west.
For a very long time, there's been this urban-rural divide, and people on the east side of the state have felt like their state-level government has not heard them, has not understood their way of life, their values, their problems.
And that's why a couple years back, a group of people began discussing a new idea.
We started going county by county in Eastern Oregon and asking voters directly, do you want your elected leaders to look into moving the border.
McCaw, a spokesperson for the Greater Idaho Movement, says their plan was originally met with skepticism.
When we started this 2 years ago, I would get that a lot, like, well, this will never happen. Why are you wasting your time?
But he says that sentiment is changing. Several eastern Oregon counties voted to discuss moving the border, and now resolutions are up for a vote in both the Oregon and Idaho legislatures. In Idaho Wednesday, the House approved the measure following testimony this week.
We want to see the kind of law that reflects faith, family, moral virtue, self-reliance, hard work, the things that Idaho is based on.
Why wouldn't we at least want to have a conversation about increasing the size of our state?
Not everyone was in favor, as expressed by the House Minority Leader.
Have got to learn to get along better and work together better. The answer cannot be to just start carving up the country and redrawing lines that have been in place for a century or more just so that we can only be surrounded by people that perfectly agree with us.
The vote itself doesn't change the border. Full approval by both chambers in both states simply opens the door for serious conversation between the two states about moving the border.
I think people in the metropolitan areas tend to look at it in the paper and get a good chuckle out of it. But the fact of the matter is people in Eastern Oregon are dead serious.
Former candidate for governor Betsy Johnson is now a KGW political analyst. She says while it's far from a done deal, the discussion of Greater Idaho raises real questions and concerns.
Quit treating the symptoms, get at the root problem, and try to figure out why would a portion of Oregon want to leave here? What has made it so bad that they are prepared to go through the administrative and expense and political hassle of trying to separate a piece of Oregon and move it into Idaho?
Now, in addition to the many technical things that would need sorting out should something progress further down the line, Johnson tells me losing a chunk of the state to neighboring Idaho could have a chilling effect on economic development in Oregon and, in her words, be a national embarrassment with so many dissatisfied here. To be clear, even if we get to the point where both state legislatures agree on moving the border, Congress must also approve it. David?
All right, well, that's the man with the plan. And he's getting it done. And do you want all of Idaho, Greater Idaho, to now look like this? Hell yeah, I certainly do. And I think the Republicans should do this all across the country. We have the people on our side. We have the numbers. We have the population to actually change these places. And we should do it. This is practicing power politics. We always play inside these little designs, these little games that are designed to fail. And it doesn't work. Look what's happening to Trump in New York. So it's time, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play our own game. I'm totally in favor of this. Let me know where I can sign a petition. Be awesome. And while we're at it, let's go grab, half of California, all of upstate New York. Let's go grab everything except for Minneapolis, right? And man, then we'll be good. We'll save America. Sign me up. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, subscribe. See ya.